So you've been abused by an abusive debt collector and you've sued that collector. And you should have a copy of your lawsuit, the complaint. And then the debt collector will file what's called an answer. That's their response to your complaint or your lawsuit. And you should also get a copy of that. And as you go along and read through that answer, what you'll notice is basically the debt collector is saying, we deny everything. We didn't do anything wrong. But you'll run across something called Bonafide Error. It's usually in a section called Affirmative Defenses. In that Bonafide Error, you go, what in the world is that? Here's what that is. It's where the debt collector says, kind of look around and go, okay, we did it. We broke the law. We violated the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. But you shouldn't hold us liable for it. And here's why. We had a policy against breaking the law. So we get off scot-free, right? Well, as you might imagine, the law is a little more, requires a little bit more than that. So what that debt collector has to show is that they did have a written policy. They had procedures. They had a system in place. And it was designed to prevent this type of wrongdoing, this type of violation. And then, this is the part that kind of gets them normally, is they have to show that they actually made efforts to enforce that policy or to follow that policy. Certainly, every debt collector has a policy that says, don't cuss out a consumer in Alabama. Don't lie to a consumer in Alabama. Don't be abusive. They all have that, okay? But they have to show that they enforce it, that it's more than just, as we had one case, one defendant say, just words on paper. It's got to be more than just words on paper. And then from a strategic standpoint, it's very difficult for debt collectors, if they actually get to trial, to stand up there and say, okay, we did it, but you need to let us off the hook because we had something in writing. It's just psychologically hard for them to do that because they so desperately want to say, we did nothing wrong and it's all the plaintiff's fault. And so it's hard for them to be willing to pull the trigger, so to speak, to say, okay, we violated the law, we admit it, and we just ask that you let us off the hook. So just wanted to talk to you for a moment about what that kind of odd-sounding thing, Bonafide Error, what that means. If you live in Alabama and you have questions, certainly get with your own lawyer if you're represented by somebody. But if you do not have a lawyer, feel free to give us a call, 205-879-2447. Thank you very much.